we asked the teams to address three fundamental questions, and one is, well, really just that, where should we locate capacity? Under two situations, given, well, in the ideal world, if a tsunami or some sort of wiped the slate clean and we could build facilities anywhere we wanted, where would we put them and what services would we provide in those facilities and how much? The real world is we already own facilities all over New England, and given those constraints, this is where they are and this is the size of them. What are you going to shoebox, sort of shoehorn into each of these facilities? And then what always happens in these arena competitions is sort of the twist. So to make things a little more difficult, the twist in this case is it's not unusual for demand for some type of specialties to be correlated. Certain individuals are going to share demand for certain services. So there's sort of correlated demand, and that demand is likely to change over time.
First, if you could tell me a little bit about the problem at hand.
Okay. So we were asked to help create a master plan for this healthcare network made up of 6 hospitals, each with 10 specialties, try and figure out how they should incorporate industrial engineering and some master planning into their current facilities and kind of go from there.
Basically, in order to cut costs and maintain like a high utilization of doctors, you want to make sure that the doctors are being utilized to their full potential so that you're not losing any money in the system. And also you're trying to make sure that you're trying to hit as much of the demand as you can. You know, there's, like they said, there's like 45 different zip codes with only 6 hospitals. You gotta either figure out whether you want to add some hospitals or take some hospitals away, and that's essentially what our job was to do.
We wanted to try to maintain as many customers within the network as possible, so the more we send out a network, the more cost they incur.
What was really hard to do was keeping track of all the data. As we tried to run all these different scenarios and make comparisons across them, we were collecting so much data, and it was a little hard sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, we have many files, many Excel files with many tabs, with a lot of different scenarios that we took. So yeah, that was definitely one of the hardest parts, is just keeping track of the data and maintaining all the data, making sure that it was all essentially correct.
We were also using Arena for the first time in this semester when we did this project, so it was a really good learning experience. Everything's not like a homework assignment where you know you have all the variables you need to solve the problem.
Yeah, you could spend forever making assumptions. You just sort of have to, stick with your best guess, and then, move on from there and hope that, you made the right decision in choosing your sort of basis to work off of.
The problem was to make a master plan, capacity plan for our RHN network. We get demand for patients to go to different facilities, 6 facilities, which one have 10 specialties, and we need to decrease the overall cost while maintaining the patient-centered care, healthcare.
The extent problem was adding a correlation between specialties, meaning if a patient needs mental health, then you also need a neurological, and to develop long-term plan for 20 years over the demographic change that is expected.
There was lack of data, missing a lot of information. In the real world, we have in the real world cancellation of doctors, like cancellation of a patient coming. This is the real world, and now we don't have this information here. For example, we don't understand exactly what is the space capacity. Is it for a patient? Is it for a doctor? Is it a room? We didn't understand. We have to look for it. Do you have more information?
There was no information about follow-up patient. It was mentioned that there exists, but no information. So here we also went and collect actual data from Israel healthcare provider. Also to deal with all the missing data, we interview healthcare specialists.
What's the biggest lesson you've gotten out of this? What have you gained most from the experience?
Let's leave the simulation aside. How to build a report, how to make a presentation to a board of directors, how to...
It's the first time that we that you did a consulting project that is not academic, but for the real world. So there was a lot of gain from this.
So having said that, do you feel ready for the real world? Do you feel you could take this on out there?
I'm prepared to give my best shot, of course.
So we were looking for some information, some data on just what exactly this wait time limit people would be willing to wait for each appointment. And we were unsatisfied with any of the research we found, so we conducted an online survey, just polling people to find out how long they would be willing to wait. And ultimately, we formed this into a response time goal. We wanted to service all patients that entered a Rockwell facility within 15 minutes. So in order to find out just how much capacity we need to meet this goal, we obviously put this in the simulation as a limit. Now, patients that come back for follow-ups were handled slightly differently. We understand there is a preference to want to return to the same doctor, so we modified this a little bit, and that patient that is coming for a follow-up would actually be willing to wait up to 30 minutes. So we put this in as another goal.
Okay, well, the problem was that the Rockwell Healthcare Network had 6 locations, which we found out later was that were in the New England area. And at these 6 locations, there was a variety of medical healthcare needs that were being serviced, from cardiology to pulmonary and several in between. We were given information with regards to demand for these services at the locations, and we were also given information regarding the proximity of the different patients to the locations. And with this information, we were to extract what we needed to do to minimize costs while maximizing patient satisfaction and reducing patient delay to receive services. Actually, Alex and myself were actually taking the system simulation course while we were working on the project. Cindy took it.
I took it last semester. Just got out, and I heard about a project and really wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah, so we jump out of class and get to work.
It was a bit of a learning experience. We took the class, and the project started a little bit after the class started, so we were kind of up and running by that point. But a lot of learning happened throughout this. Is there a way we can model this in simulation? It sounds logical, like you could be able to, but then you had to actually do it. So there's a lot of unstated challenges we had that you can't exactly spend the time to explain when you're going an overall picture. So there's a lot of hidden learning through Arena Help and other things.
As well as we also were able to learn, I think, a lot beyond what we were being taught in class. So at a certain point, we actually knew more than the assignments we were being given in class.
It's shown very well that we are very ambitious, and it's very good to have ambitious people in the group, because we keep having new idea to improve the model. Next day, I have this idea, I want to put it in, and with limited time, you just have to choose which one to go with. But if we were a real consulting company and this is the problem, I think we're just gonna keep moving and make it the best model ever.
I constantly thought that some of these suggestions coming from other group members or my personal ideas are like, nah, we don't need to do that. That's so above and beyond the scope of this project. You don't need to make a map. We don't need this in 3 dimensions. It's too much. Actually, the other competitors were quite formidable competition, so it's quite a close race. So if you're at the kind of dilemma, should I go above and beyond or not, just do it. You might as well. Otherwise, why bother? Try your best. Push it. See how far you can take it.